In this lesson, we're going to be adding in some feedback for when you get an answer correct or when you get an answer wrong. That'll actually show up in the game. Right now, sort of correct or incorrect print statements aren't going to show up, so we need something a little bit better than that. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to add some text. So I'm going to right-click on the canvas, and I'm going to go down to UI, and I'm going to add some text, and I'm going to move it up a bit. Sort of in between our question and our answers. And I'm going to go ahead, go into the text component, and I'm going to center it, and I'm also going to center it like that. So it's completely centered now, and I'm also going to say best fit. So all of that's set up. Now I'm going to just make this a tiny bit bigger, so grab that, hold in the Alt key, just make it a little bigger. Okay, cool, we have that. I'm going to also go ahead and move these little crosshairs to the corners so that they will maintain that size and position. So there we go. Cool. We got that. Let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is just rename it, make this a little bit clearer what this is. So right click over here and rename. It's going to be feedback text. And honestly, what you might want to do when you go about making your things here in the hierarchy, you might want to go ahead and just rename all these things that make more sense. So this would be the question panel, and this would be the answers panel, that sort of thing. So anyway, we got that. Let's go over to our script. Select the main camera. I'm going to double click on Trivia Game Loop. Let's go ahead, go into MonoDevelop. Now, what we need to do is go down to the check answer right here. And what we're going to do here is we are going to add in some stuff for changing the text and changing the text color for that text we just added, our feedback text. So first, let's go ahead and actually make a variable for this feedback text. So we're going to just go ahead and create a game object variable. It's going to be public, and it's going to be a game object, and we want to make it a game object because we're going to turn this text on and off. So it's going to use the setActive function, which is part of the game object, so might as well make it a game object. So public game object, and let's go ahead and just call this feedback text, just like that. Cool, so we have that now. So now let's go down to our check answer section, our function here. And okay, so we're gonna check to see if we can allow selection. Okay, cool. Then we're gonna check to see if, okay, is the button number equal to the current question dot correct answer index? Okay, well then within this we're going to set up our feedback text to be the right text and be the right color. So we want it to say correct. So let's start with that. So feedback text, and since it's a game object, we need to get the component. So we're going to get the text component. So get component. So get component, and then you need a caret, this thing right here. And then within that caret, we're going to write text because that's the type of component we're getting, and then the other caret, and then put in parentheses and dot text. Okay, that's how we access the text of the text component. And if we go back over here, we can see that our feedback text has a text component, and that's what we're trying to access here. So back into MonoDevelop, we're going to set this equal to, we're going to have it just set equal to being the string saying correct. So a string like this, correct, and then end the string and end the line. Okay, cool. So what else do we need? We need to set the color of this text. Okay, that's a pretty similar process. I'm just going to copy this and paste it. And what I'm going to do is just going to go back through here, delete that period, and then what do I want to change? The color? Well, there it is. I want to change the color. And I want to set it equal to a color. And what I can do is I can use the color class. It has some built-in colors. So if I type in color dot, then I see some stuff come up. I want it to be green, so I'm going to type in green, and then there we go. Just select that. So cool. That will change the color of the text to green. Very cool. So all I need to do is get all of that text and copy it, and down here if it's incorrect, so if this is not true and it goes to the else, then we're going to change the text to be incorrect. And we're going to change the color. Instead of green, it's going to be red. So let's just get rid of that. And it's going to be red. Cool. So we have that now. Very cool. One more thing. We need to remember to turn this text on and off. So down here in our coroutine, our IEnumerator, continue after feedback. After I change the allow selection to be false, let's go ahead and just change the set active. So this is feedback text.set active, and I'm going to change it to be true here. Actually, it's going to be true here because this is when we want it to show up. So cool. We want it to show up, and before the wait, and then after the wait, we want it to to not be visible anymore. So feedback text and set active, and now it's going to be false because we've finished moving on to the next question. So cool. Let's just review, the past few steps we've taken here. So if we go up to check answer, what we're doing here is when the user clicks one of the buttons, one of the answer buttons, this is going to be run, and it's going to check to see, okay, are we actually allowing selection? So are we not in that period where we're waiting, getting the feedback, and waiting for the next question to come up? So as long as we're not in that section, so as long as we are allowing selection, then it's going to run this, and it's going to check to see if the button number of the button I pressed, which I'm passing in as a parameter, is equal to the correct answer index of the current question. And then what we're doing is we are changing the color and the text of our feedback text, if to correct and green if it's true, and to incorrect and red if it's false. And the coroutine is starting right here. So after we're changing those, and what that does at the beginning of that, it's being called here, it's allowing selection is equal to false. So don't allow selection for now, and go ahead and set our feedback text to be true. So it's now going to be visible. So those changes we made up there will now be visible. And we're going to wait for like 1 second. That's what this line here is doing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to see if the questions have finished, and if it's less than the number of questions, basically. And so this is just checking to see, okay, do we have more questions to move to? Then it's moving to that, and it's increasing the questions finished. Else, what we're going to do is we're just going to set all the trivia panels to be false, and the final results panel is going to be set to true, and then we're going to display the results. And anyway, after that if else, then we're going to allow selection again, and we're going to set our feedback text to be invisible again, so set active to false. That's what we've done. Let's go ahead and save that and test it. So let's go ahead and test. And one more thing we need to make sure we do. Let's go ahead and set our feedback text to not be active, as well as assign that. So we need to remember to assign it. So let's go ahead, go down on our trivia loop script here in the component, and just assign our feedback text right there. So drag and drop that on there. Okay, cool. Now let's run it. And so California, correct. Okay, let's get the next one wrong. So how many degrees are in a circle? 180. Incorrect. Cool. That all seems to be working. I'm just going to go ahead and go through this and see the ending. So 3 out of 5. Correct. Well done. Cool. So that's all working. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.